how I love Jesus. 627.
Father, that you would bless the lesson today and that you would use it for your glory, that we would learn something from your word that we could take with us and use now, Father, for eternity to enhance our life and especially to enhance other people's lives. In Christ's name, amen. All right, Zechariah, it contains 14 chapters. It is listed in the Minor Prophets, so 39 books, and they're divided 17 books, 5 books and 17 books. Of the 2 sets of 17, it's divided into, 5, 9, and 3, 5, 9, and 3. This is obviously in the latter of the 3. And this would be post-exile after they come back. And it would be, it's close to that of a major prophet. But it's listed with the minor prophets. So because of the size of the book, it contains 14 chapters. There's a lot in here. The name Zechariah means Jehovah remembers. You know, I have a book with exhaustive names of the Bible. Exhaustive names. So in other words, all the names that are in the Bible and their definitions. I don't even know if people get that anymore. That was given to me as a gift. Well, how would you get that today? How would you get that today? Pardon?
Online.
Yeah, on your clicker. You just go, in fact, anybody got their clicker with them? Look up Zechariah. See what it says. See what it says on that thing. It means Jehovah remembers. Now, my Bible, I would write it down, but as a preacher, like one teacher said, not everybody's like you. I write it all down. All this got written down in my Bible long before we ever started a church or I went to school. I wrote this down when we were coming through. Anybody see what it means? Sometimes there are different names. What does Nathan mean? You know, we used to get these plaques. What does Nathan mean? Do you remember what your name means? No? Ben's name means, everybody's name means something.
Sorrow or something. Isn't Ben has something with sorrow?
Ben? Well, look up Ben. There's a meaning to the name.
God remembers.
God remembers, that's what Nathan means?
No, Zechariah.
Zechariah.
God remembers.
God remembers. Oh, that's what I have that in here. Jehovah. It's on your list. It says
Son of the
Jehovah.
right hand for Benjamin.
Pardon?
It says son of the right hand for Benjamin.
Oh, it does. You're right.
Benji.
That is right. Son of the right hand. Yeah.
On your right hand, helping you
Yeah.
out all the time.
So Zechariah, according to your clicker, means Jehovah remembers. Now Camilla is with us. This is Corey's, her oldest, and she's been in the country for 3 weeks. No, she said 3 weeks today.
1 month.
Oh, 1 month. Well, 4 weeks. It's not 4 years. 4 weeks. Somebody look up Camilla. Find out what that means.
Nathan means given.
Okay, given. Yeah, we used to get plaques for that. Look up Camilla just for fun. Find out what that means. Somebody look it up. What does it mean?
Nathan is the man who God used to get David to repent of his sin against Uriah.
That's a long definition.
And,
Just
but it's,
No, I want to know what Camilla means. All right, let's move on here. He was a priest. All right, so Zechariah 1, verse 1. In the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius. See, you can date these books too, because it gives the month, the year, the king that's reigning. So these things, I'm not the kind of a theologian to research this. There's others, they're called to do that. And they'll research it all and figure all that out. And some of this you can find from history, from archaeological diggings, and so on. And whenever it contradicts the Bible, once they find out the true archaeologists dig, it always proves them wrong and the Bible right. Always. All right, 8th year, the year of Darius, the word of the Lord came unto Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo, the prophet, saying. So he's listed as a prophet. So he's a priest. And he's in the family of Aaron. If we turn to Nehemiah. We go back to Nehemiah, the building of the wall. And they do give a lot of the genealogy here. Nehemiah 12, 4 and 16. For there's Iddo. It's the name that, in the verse 16, did I say 16? And there's Iddo again. Zechariah is mentioned there. All right, so the name is given, those names are given in those genealogies. By the way, why did they need to know the genealogy? They wanted those records, and they wanted to know the genealogy. Well, that'd be one reason. For the priesthood. Because if you intermarried with somebody, well, what? Go ahead, Ben. What is it?
Camila, religious attendant or priest helper?
A priest helper and a religious attendant, an attendant in the church, and a helper in the church.
does that make Joe Biden a priest? Oh boy.
Wait, what does that have to do with Camilla?
Who's the vice president?
No, Camilla Harris.
Oh, Kamala.
Kamala.
Oh, please.
Kamala.
That's Kamala, please. Okay. All right, it's in the family of Aaron. And this is in the list here. And you wanted to have a pure. It was the tribe. That tribe is the tribe of Aaron. What's the tribe? Thank you. The tribe of Levi. Did they get an inheritance? Ow.
No.
The answers, my technical answer is yes, they had an inheritance. But no, you're right, they did not get an inheritance.
Physical inheritance.
They did not get a physical inheritance. They didn't get any land.
The Lord's their inheritance.
And the Lord was their inheritance. So they did not, and where did they live, physically live?
Right next to the temple.
Right next to the temple, so they'd be right at hand to do their courses at the temple and in their service. They were in the vicinity where the others were not. And so the tribe of Levi did not get an inheritance. All right, so if the genie, his grandfather raised him. All right. I don't feel led to go over problem texts. We don't have a problem in our church with that, with scoffers. But there is a problem text, is where it probably says son of I do. And when they do that, in the reference, it's not a son. What is it? I have in that second one where it says Ezra 5:1 and Ezra 6:14 on the fourth one, on the genealogy. I wrote in there, he's the son of I do. What is the problem text there? Anybody know? Going by the first sentence, his father probably died when he was young, and his grandfather raised him. The answer to it is the grandson sometimes is referred to as the son. He's the son. Like Benji's my son. When Benji's not my son, he's my grandson. And sometimes these guys also had the same name. Like there's not one Benji in the world. They would have the same name. But we would refer to Benji as a son and not a grandson. And the Bible would do that. And then those that are scoffers make an issue of that and make problem texts out of that. What they want to do is disprove all this. He dates his ministry, going back to Zechariah. It's in the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius. That's the first verse. And if you go to Zechariah 7:1, chapter 7, verse 1, it came to pass in the 4th year of King Darius that the word of the Lord came unto Zechariah the 4th day of the 9th month. All right, so Haggai, he preaches for about 3 months. I think Zechariah preaches for about 4 or 5 years. So it's not a flash in the pan. Isaiah, he preaches for Jeremiah. Jeremiah preached like for 7 years. Preached a long time. Long time. He is a contemporary. In other words, they are around at the same time as Haggai. Ezra 5:1. And the thrust of the preaching, what was the thrust of the preaching? If we go to Ezra 5:1, chapter 5, verse 1, prophets Haggai the prophet and Zechariah, they're listed together right there. 6:14, we've already looked at this when we did Haggai. And the elders of the Jews builded it, and they prospered through the prophesying of Haggai, the prophet, and Zechariah. So the thrust of the preaching for them is to rebuild the temple that was destroyed. All right, what do most people want to do? What do most Americans want to do in most of the world? What do they want to do? They put it off till when? Tomorrow. They always put it off till tomorrow. I'll go to work when? Tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. And when does tomorrow come?
Never.
It never comes. And so that's what Haggai and Zechariah are doing. He's saying, let's get building the temple, because they built their own houses and they said, oh, we'll build it, and now's not the time. We're going to build it some other time. And so it's basically a pep rally to get them out of bed and get them, instead of doing their own self-interest, is to get busy building the temple. All right, so we can date the book. It's he dates his ministry from 520 to 518 BC. He preaches for 3 years. He begins with about 1 month before Haggai finishes his preaching, so there's an overlap. Haggai preaches for 3 months. He's probably preaching 2 months. His last month, Zechariah, so there's a little overlap there. So the overlap, the 6th month to the 9th month, and Zechariah starts on the 8th month. So you can, those dates are given. Those dates are given. They already resumed the construction of the temple in response. After Haggai got done, even in the middle of it, they already had got started building. It's hard physical work. It's hard physical work. Oh, by the way, there were 2 men that built the tabernacle and the temple. Their names are given. I don't know if it's just the tabernacle, and it was skilled in that. The two, it's a type of Jesus Christ and the type of the Holy Spirit. They're the only ones that have the skills to do that. It's just not regular people like you and I. All right, they resume in response to Haggai's message. Zechariah now ministers encouragement. It's kind of like this. People respond, either they respond or don't respond. I'm not going to be here forever. Haggai is going on. And then somebody's going to replace me, either here or down the road, somebody's going to replace me. Somebody takes over to preach and encourage the people. The divine method, number 10 here, of encouragement is to take our eyes off our present day problems and look forward to the glories of the future. What is the big mistake then of the people in Numbers? Remember, the book of Numbers is where Israel always had a problem. What did they have their eyes on? They were bitten by them.
Snakes.
Their eyes are on the snakes. Their eyes are down earthward, and the snakes that are biting them, and they're dying from the bites. All right, and then what are they to do? Look up, look and live. And what are they to look at? I can't hear you. The brass serpent on the pole, all right, on that pole. Where do you see the serpent on the pole today? Pardon? Well, every day. Every day, yes. It's on an ambulance or on the outside of a hospital. And it's meant for healing. And so the idea is look and live. You're to look at the brazen serpent on the pole. You looked at that, and that brazen serpent represents who?
Christ.
Jesus. You're supposed to look unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. He is the great healer. That's the only way to be healed. By the way, are some people greater sinners than others? There's bigger sinners than others. Some people are big sinners, and other people are little sinners. Well, let's close that door because we don't want to join that these girls will find their way in here. So whether or not you're a little sinner or a big sinner, where does that send you? It sends you to hell. So it doesn't matter if Jesus is real far away from you, making you a big sinner, or if Jesus is right up close to you, making you a little sinner. All have to look and live. Whether you're a little sinner, you didn't sin much, you still have to look and live. Or if you're a big sinner, Jesus is right far away, but look way out in the horizon, there's the brazen serpent, which represents Jesus. You're supposed to look. It doesn't matter if it's far away or close to you, you have to look in order to live and have eternal life through the blood of Christ.
Maybe the sun setting that grass. The sun setting, everybody can see it from where we're
And if the
at.
yeah, the sun is hitting the brass, reflecting it, just like a candle. He is the light. And so when the candle, if this was pitch black in here, one candle is showing, that candle represents Jesus. All right, so no matter how far away the brazen serpent. Oh, by the way, why did they cut it up? In what book did they finally get the brazen? And in the interpretation of the word, it's called what? It gives a name and it interprets the name in Isaiah. What did they do to the brazen serpent in the end? No, it said they cut it in pieces. They cut it up. Why did they cut it up?
They worship it.
They worshipped it and made it an idol. And so in Isaiah, they cut it up. They started, instead of worshiping God, they were worshiping the brass. And so they idolized it, so they cut it up. And then it gives the word for what it is, but it tells the definition of it. After the word, I don't know what the word, I can't think of it right now. It means piece of brass. That's what it means, piece of brass. And they cut it up so that they would not worship that they would worship. It's kind of like with Gideon. What did they worship with Gideon in the end? You remember at the very end what they worshiped? Instead of worshiping the true God, they were worshiping his coat of mail, his armor that he wore. In the end, yeah, and that's Gideon. That's what, Judges, or that's in Judges. All right. Okay. People take their eyes off of their. People are to take their eyes off of their problems. If you want to find peace in this life, you have to take your eyes off of this world and put your eyes on the Lord. And that's what this preaching is about: is get our eyes back on building that temple. By the way, what is the temple today? The temple's gone. The temple is your own body, and Jesus sits on the throne, that Christ may dwell in your hearts by faith, Ephesians 3:17. And it's already 5 minutes too. We're going to stop here. We'll pick this up right here next week. Hang on to your lessons, okay? So we'll start there next week. And preaching in 15 minutes, all right?